Hey, what's up, sim fans? Welcome to VR Simulation, dedicated to bringing you the latest news and reviews for all simulations in virtual reality. Hey, welcome VR Simulation fans to another episode of VR Simulation. Glad to have you back. This week's episode is Flight Sim Lineup. Before we get to that, I want to talk about last week's episode and the problems I had with R-Factor. Now, while I was racing and driving on the video, I had not realized, but I was actually having some technical difficulties, and it was only running at 25 frames per second. 25 frames per second is not enough to give a good racing experience. It feels laggy and sloppy. And as I was racing and giving my oration, I think my judgment was a little bit clouded because of those technical difficulties I was having. Since last week, I've had a little bit more time to spend with R-Factor 2, and I've been much more impressed with it. So let's get back to the criticisms that you had of my assessment of the physics engine and the various titles that we covered. R-Factor 2, iRacing, Project C.A.R.S, and Race Room were the particular standouts. The criticisms were lodged mostly against those titles, and I think it was fairly unanimous that everybody thinks R-Factor 2 is the best. iRacing falls slightly behind. Project C.A.R.S and Race Rooms are quite a bit further down on the ladder. Now, I understand your criticisms, and what I want to say is that I am not the most advanced, experienced sim racer out there, and I'm fully aware that my opinion is fairly amateurish compared to some of you out there. And therefore, I highly value your own opinions, and I appreciate your comments and criticisms. I have no problem with that. What I wanted to do is kind of express my own personal experience. For a lot of those titles, I hadn't spent much, so they were really initial impressions of how I felt about the game. I'm sure those opinions will continue to evolve with time, and I'm totally okay with that. Let's move on to developments. Since last week's episode, I've been keeping track of the various titles that we talked about. And this past week I've seen iRacing and R-Factor 2 developments. For iRacing, you can see this online video that I'm showing now. Some users have gotten it to work with the perception drivers. Head tracking has not yet been implemented, but it looks great. They say that it feels pretty good. Once we get head tracking going, that should be a pretty compelling experience. So it's very exciting to see my favorite title in Rift format. R-Factor 2, there was some posts on the forum that some users have gotten R-Factor 2 working with head tracking, though I have not seen any videos popping up as of yet. As soon as I do, I will post links, or I'll show them to you. So let's move right on. Flight sim titles. There are several titles that I wanted to keep an eye on over the next few weeks, months, years. Let's just go through the list. I'm not going to show you gameplay footage as I did last week, just because, again, flight sim titles are not my specialty, and I haven't had much seat time with any of these. I played a bit with War Thunder. I've had a bit of time with DCS World. I've played a little bit of Flight Simulator X. But I didn't feel confident, as I do with the racing titles, to give you a clear opinion on any of them. But let's just get some of these titles out there. Ottera is the first one I want to mention. Ottera looks like an incredible gaming engine that allows for an entire planet to be rendered real-time. And as you go from space all the way down to ant level, detail in the scene is rendered on the fly, depending on how much is necessary. So as you get further away, there's less detail, but it still looks amazing as you zoom in. The area where you're zoomed gets more and more detailed. Kind of works like tessellation, for instance. I'm not sure if they're actually using tessellation for it, but it wouldn't surprise me. So that looks like an incredible engine. It's not a specific flight sim title, but they do have spawnable vehicles, both driving vehicles and flight vehicles. So that's an interesting one to watch. I'm definitely excited that it's such a massive and powerful gaming engine. Hopefully we'll see, you know, some cool flight sims come from that engine. Flight Simulator X, of course, everybody knows Flight Simulator X has been around for a long time, and it was one of the first titles that I saw with Flight Simulator, with Rift support, not official, but user-generated support. Of course, the whole community revolves around user community and the work that individuals are doing to get the most out of Flight Simulator X. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. A similar title that I want to watch is DCS World. DCS, Digital Combat Simulator, is the free-to-play online experience that DCS has come up with, and you can plug in as modules the various games that they've released in the past. For instance, I'm the owner of A10C Warthog, which is an incredible simulator by any measure. It'll plug into DCS World and allow you to use that vehicle and fly those missions, for instance. And there haven't been, I haven't seen official support, although it wouldn't surprise me. I was looking through the forums, and it appears that the developers are working on it. I just haven't seen an official press release or anything, but it's definitely going to have some sort of support or another, and so we'll keep an eye on that. War Thunder is an old World War II flight sim, and World War I for that matter. Looks really good. I played the beta quite a bit on my rig here, and it works great. Already been a couple of people posting videos online, as you can see here. The sim looks great. It works with the Razer Hydra for positional tracking. It's pretty neat to be able to see the operator leaning out of the vehicle and you know, leaning over the edge or whatever, being able to see all around, and definitely be keeping an eye on that. The last game is Star Citizen by Chris Roberts. This is the guy that created the X-Wing series. This is again a mass-funded project, and it far exceeded its goal, and there's a lot of excitement following Star Citizen. And the thing that really sets it apart for me is that Chris Roberts has really been excited about the Oculus Rift and the implications it makes. Search YouTube videos for Chris Roberts and Rift. He's done a few different developer conferences and that sort of thing, question and answer times, so there's a lot of information about how he feels about it, and I think that's going to be an incredible experience. It's not exactly a flight simulator, it's a space simulator, but a lot of flight and combat, space flight combat in there, so it kind of falls into the same genre. So those are the titles that I want to keep track of. There's also two developer, what do you call them, tech demo type demos that I want to check out. Heli 2, which a lot of people have said is the most amazing experience you can get right now with the Rift, and Unassisted Flight, where you kind of fly around like Superman with the Razer Hydra. Both of those look really cool, and I definitely want to check those out. Heli even uses the Hydra as well for positional tracking, so as you're navigating your helicopter around, you can peek outside of the vehicle and you know, help with landing and such. Looks really neat. So what I want to ask you, my audience, is should I even bother with flight sims? I've just told you the lineup of the titles that I'm kind of got on my radar, and I want to go in and mess with those on my own time regardless. But as I've surveyed the interwebs and looked around for other enthusiasts like myself doing coverage of the titles that are out, I haven't seen much from people that are really passionate about racing or flight. If you know of any, please let me know. To fill that gap, I wanted to create VR simulation in order to cover those things. That there's certain groups of the gaming community that are really excited about the simulation aspect of VR. I'm not big on first-person shooters and that kind of thing, and so I wanted to create this vlog for those of us that are passionate about simulation. Obviously, my first and foremost priority is driving sims. But seeing this gap in both driving and flight sims, I thought maybe I could fill both. However, what do you think? Am I spreading myself too thin? Should I narrow my focus and only worry about driving games and allow somebody else to pick up the ball and run with it for the flight titles? I'd love to hear your comments on it. Just let me know what you think. Post in the comments below and tell me your opinion on it if you want to see this stuff out of me. Going right along with that question is hardware. I don't have any flight sim hardware right now. I'm using an Xbox 360 controller for my flight titles. If I'm going to cover them on the blog, I'm going to pick up some hardware. The question is what? I've looked at kind of the mid to low end range stuff, the X52 from Sci-Tech, the X52 Pro, and the X65 Foxtrot. These three products, the 65 is a bit high on the price. I'm not sure if I want to go that far. I don't want to stretch my budget. Obviously, you know, I focus most of my financial resources on the racing bit. So unless one of you can provide a pretty compelling argument for it, I don't think I'll go that high. And then I've also looked at the CH products. They've got their CH Flight Stick and CH Throttle, both of which have earned high praise over the years. They're a little bit older technology, but I kind of like the idea of keeping it simple, stupid, you know? So if they're better, more reliable, better feeling, whatever the case, tell me what you think. What are your opinions on it? Should I cover flight sims? And if I do, what hardware would you advise me to get? What would you like to see me using while I'm evaluating these different titles? That about does it for this week. A quick podcast. Hopefully next week I'll have the Rift, but if not, doesn't matter. I'll be back anyway. Have a good week.